some booklets. We also have one for the media as well. And Chief McManus and Deputy City Manager Eric Walsh. Good morning, members of the Public Safety Committee. We're here today in response to the recent public comments regarding the rideshare and unlicensed vehicle for hire starting up in our city. The combined industry of licensed vehicle for hire operators, members of various labor trade groups, the NAACP, company employees and ownership have serious concerns about these unlicensed vehicle for hire operating in San Antonio. We ask this committee to engage in a thorough examination and dialogue of all the details of this very important public safety issue today. As a significant part of San Antonio's full-time, self-employed independent contractor taxi drivers, limo and bus operators, small business owners, trade groups, and company employees, we feel the need to express our concerns and our willingness to allow these billion-dollar companies to circumvent the existing rules and regulations, start up illegal operations in San Antonio overnight that have put the citizens and the riding public at risk and danger. Let me make some comparisons and difference. There is a big difference between a, quote, ride share and a vehicle for hire as defined in the city ordinance. Under Chapter 33 of the city ordinance, a vehicle for hire shall mean every chauffeured vehicle other than mass transit or vehicles involved in an organized carpool are available to the general public, which is operated for any fare or compensation and used for the transportation of passengers over the city streets. Such vehicles shall not include, but not limited to, taxicabs, buses, minibuses, motor coaches, stretch limousines, classic vehicles, luxury cars, and vehicles and pedicabs. The code is clear that these unlicensed vehicles are operating for hire service as defined under Section 33 of the San Antonio Code Ordinance. The drivers must be licensed, and these California-based companies must fully comply with all sections of Chapter 33. Conversely, the illegal unlicensed vehicle for hire companies, Lyft, Uber, etc., use the term, quote, rideshare, as described as drivers sharing a vehicle to transport the passengers to a destination of the passenger's choosing is a fallacy and flat-out distortion. Unlike true ride sharing, Uber and Lyft rides are not shared. Rideshare is defined in the U.S. Public Law Section 112-114, quote, because the driver would not have traveled to the passenger's destination but for the desire by the passenger, no driver would do this simply to share expenses. So this model inherently involves compensation to the driver, whether it is called a fare, a voucher, a suggested donation, or some other term. The driver is utilizing this for hire vehicle in a more intensely because he is traveling at the passenger's request and is not based on the driver's personal travel needs. Such intense use of the vehicle is outside the personal insurance under.
I'm giving her my minutes. Mary Jane Ortiz.
Mary Jane Ortiz?
Yes.
Okay.
And Pete Arizola.
Pete Arizola.
Such intense, thank you.
Two people.
Such intense use of these vehicles is outside the personal insurance underwriting assumptions, indeed requiring commercial automobile insurance, which these unlicensed companies do not require of their drivers. Such transportation to point of this destination in exchange for compensation instead of just, quote, sharing the ride and expense constitutes for vehicle for hire transportation requiring a special operator's license, background checking, drug testing, etc. If the city wants a bona fide rideshare program, please see the letter that's attached in this from Karma that's addressed to City Council as of yesterday. How do I know these companies are charging? Because we did our own due diligence and we've been charged. These rides are not free. It's just a promotional ad to solicit drivers. Please see the backup that we've incorporated in there charging these. I challenge you, go order a cab and cancel it. You will get charged. Public safety. Where do I begin? San Antonio Police Chief McManus and his staff are tasked with the duty of protecting our citizens and enforcing the laws of the city and state, and they do a damn good job. Chief McManus began fulfilling his responsibility by issuing a cease and desist order to Lyft soon after they publicly announced they had no respect for the law or San Antonio regulators and would openly violate this law. Because these companies do not have any formal city driver background checking system tied into the police and FBI that parallels the city's taxi limo driver vetting system. Council members, this is a public safety risk, and there is severe public risk at stake here. There has been thousands of complaints and serious situations in every city that they have tried to operate in and endanger the riding public's safety. If ignored, it's not if, Chief, it's when someone will be harmed. Some of the safety issues include drivers raping passengers, running passengers over, including killing a 6-year-old child. See the article in the background information that we provided for you. That particular driver had his driver's license revoked in Florida, but was still allowed to operate in another state. Not to mention the continued harassment these drivers have the ability to stalk passengers having their access to their personal information via social media that is required to get a trip. What about the 6 pages of the city ordinance that these unlicensed operators are violating while transporting the riding public? If a San Antonio licensed vehicle for hire cab, limo, or bus would have a simple violation, the respective permit holder would be fined and have their permit removed, virtually putting these small business owners out of business. Who's accountable for these companies? With no local office or dispatch system, who will the police call for assistance when an emergency calls? Are these cars safe? According to information on one of their websites, anyone, quote, with a 10-year-old car or newer is eligible. These rules passed by City Council less than a year ago have very strict language for the use of the cars and very detailed inspection process, not just a state inspection, a city process. Please see the attached. Do they have insurance? That's questionable. Uber and Lyft have to have primary insurers, not secondary, with no coverage gaps. That's a big issue. Do they have commercial insurance? Who's accountable? The company or the driver? Why don't they have copies of their policies on file with ground transportation as required by the ordinance? And if these coverages, and with these providers, are they licensed to underwrite in the state of Texas? I ask your city council attorney. Driver's personal insurance does not cover the riding public. Let's talk about the economic impact. These companies discriminate. What about Mrs. Gonzalez, who lives on the southwest side, that relies on the city taxi services to take her to dialysis center 3 times per week, or the elderly and the handicapped communities that rely on cabs to take them to the doctor's and Medicare appointments daily? Hundreds of trips a day that these passengers have no money and rely on the voucher system. Or our military to take soldiers and sailors and airmen from one of the local bases to the mall or the HEB. These companies only cater to luxury, affluent, and ignore the ordinary citizen that need cabs. Surge pricing is a motto of theirs. If left alone, how much more will they bastardize the industry like they have done in other cities? Look at what they've done and their track record destroy the industry to the riding public that has suffered. Ripped up roads with no recourse and cannot get reliable transportation. It's a mess out there. Don't let this happen here in the city of San Antonio. What if I don't have a smartphone or social media or account or credit card? I cannot ride. You're discriminating in a class of people. They do not have city-approved meter systems, and based on supply and demand, the prices will get out of control, ripping off the public. Our due diligence, we found that the prices were more than cabs. They operate in a selective area and rate passengers. This is discriminating. Didn't the city just pass an ordinance about discrimination to their employees? What about the local drivers that have investments in their small businesses, bought cars, permits, and used it to support their family? Last year, Yellow Cab transported 2.2 million trips and over 10 million passengers. We paid $420,000 in fees to the cities, plus another $90,000 in airport inspection and airport fees that the city also handles. We also spend over $1 million annually, which I'm in charge of, but in all of our locations. It's clearly over $5 million to maintain our operations and keep our cars safe and on the road. Plus another $1.4 million that we plan to spend this year to purchase new vehicles up to our fleet. Each city licensed cab, limo, bus, horse carriage unit requires the purchase of a city permit and also an airport permit issued by the city. Plus additional fees paid annually, inspection fees, re-inspection fees, if required, and fines generate millions of dollars in annual reoccurring revenue to the city. In closing, Council, we understand and respect the mayor's desire to be, quote, hip and technology forward. We have technology. We have an app. We pick up and transport the riding public. We pick up passengers and we do not discriminate, along with the other 22 taxi cab companies and 200 limo and bus operators. We help make San Antonio a great tourist destination and a place of business. Is it being suggested that the city does not currently have enough permitted vehicles for hire operating in the city? The city has a very good transportation network and system. See the Dr. Monday study that I've also enclosed in your report. Why throw out or amend the regulations to endanger the public? Make these companies conform to our standards. Allow the chief, please, to do his duties. Thank you very much.
Thank you.